Coming up right now, a decade-old kid goes from the driver's seat to the hot seat after a run-in with a merry-go-round.
Also coming up, having it your way isn't all it's cracked up to be. Why Burger King is in trouble in the UK.
A little bit later on, actor Tom Selleck and his mustache puts one network on blast for canceling his hit show.
Oh,
Matt's
boy.
mom is mad.
Daily Flash starts
Yes.
right now.
All right?
Yeah.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I am Mitch English. We welcome you to Daily Flash.
Look at our hype man, James.
That's our hype man, Sweet Baby, our producer here.
You call him
and
Sweet Baby, I call him Big Daddy.
Big Daddy, yeah. It all depends on what he's doing for you at
That's
the time.
true.
How
Oh,
about
yeah,
that?
yeah.
He's always Sweet Baby to me.
Two jobs.
And the cat, that's where it's at. His name is Matt. He's to my right. What's up?
So,
Matty.
Mitch, we've talked about this. We've married up, right? Like
100%.
Way smarter people. So we'll just have it on in the back row when we're making dinner. Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. I swear to baby Christmas, my wife can answer almost everything on Jeopardy. She tried out to be on Jeopardy, but she didn't get in. Wheel of Fortune. She gets everything right, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't know any of this.
That's okay.
It's DVR'd and she watched it before that.
She's got to be.
let him-
She'll be in the kitchen and she'll just pipe out an answer, and I'm like, how do you know these things?
She's from another time zone. It's
That's what it
Groundhog
is.
Day.
I love
She's
that.
just seeing the
I
show
love
on
that.
repeat. Yeah. So AI, we talk about this a lot on the
Man
show, right?
almighty, got to.
So the deep fake thing is kind of taking on a whole new angle now that a lot of people are using deep fake nude images to connect to famous people's faces, also young people's faces. It's kind of getting to a
scary.
point where it's a little out of control.
And if you want to do me, just put me on a nice, healthy young man. I don't mind. You can use my face for this. But no, it is. And we talked about this the other day. One industry gets involved in it and
Yeah.
they can do it. And that's the industry that's doing it, is putting them on these news bodies.
Exactly.
And you can see it a huge problem. But and also in the same token, if you have nude photos out there, it'd be great to say, well, it's AI. That's not really my body. So it's not like you're embarrassed. Would you be embarrassed if like somebody put your face?
As long as it was a fantastic
That's
body,
what I
I
say.
don't care.
Yeah, but Mitch would end up on like Wilford Brimley or
No,
something.
exactly, 100%. Or they would, it wouldn't be good in my case. But I do see that, and it's
Yeah.
so easy to do it too. If you think about it, you can do it on your phone almost.
Yeah,
already
it's a
change the
little
faces out.
terrifying because it looks so darn real, and unless somebody actually says, "Hey, this is AI," it's a little hard to tell the difference. And technically, you're supposed to say if an image is AI, you're supposed to specify that. But does
On Facebook,
on
definitely, right.
Facebook?
But you're not gonna have nude
But
stuff.
is anybody really going to do that?
If you're breaking the law already, putting somebody's face on there to make them think that, you don't have the
gonna
best
say,
intentions.
"By the way, it's
this is
AI."
AI. Yeah, now get all excited
I
about it.
saw a weather promo the other day, and the weather promo used images from storm damage, but you could tell it was like a CG kind of thing. But they were trying to make the person look like they were standing in the middle of
Okay.
a neighborhood that was blown apart. And I thought,
I'm against
I
that.
have a problem with that.
That's not cool.
That's not cool.
Listen.
And it's one thing to maybe at least
right.
say something on there, but they didn't. And on top of it, not only did they have this background, but they also had a setup in the front that looked like, tossed lumber and wood. And you could tell that was a setup.
All right. Here's the thing, and I get back. I was a weather guy for nearly 20 years. It's enough for us to stand like you're in the middle of the flooding, and it's only up to our ankles. It's
Yeah.
all visual.
Yeah.
But that I think is a little. You get the point.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing a live report because you're just
Right.
doing a promotion. I guess is what
Yes.
it was. But it does give you the point, like were they really putting themselves out there? Because that's what
Right.
the big promotion is.
Because
right,
it
Dan?
suggests that they're in the middle of the storm when they were not.
I'm going to say, it's exactly like the moon landing, only for weather. That's all. It is what it is.
You're right. If you think about that,
Point, yeah.
there's so much about AI that we need to have governed laws on.
Too
as
late.
of right
It's
now.
already out of the box.
It
It is.
might be too late. You're right.
We go now to real stories that happen to real people and real kids. Cops say that a 10-year-old boy in Minneapolis in trouble for taking the family car out for a joyride and then crashing it into a playground. Surveillance video actually can show, here, look at your screen, from the scene actually shows the car barrel through the park as kids play nearby. So, haha, it's funny, but think somebody could have got hurt really bad.
Oh my goodness.
Parents appear to be in shock before rushing to get their kids out of harm's way. Good news, no one was seriously hurt. 10-year-old boy, or 10-year-old, should I say, was booked on assault charges. Investigators say that he actually has been busted for several auto-related crimes within the past year. So this isn't even the first time. And now do you go after the parents? Because it's like, wait a minute, how is he getting access to this? How are they getting in the car? Hide the keys?
NASCAR team go sign him up.
He probably
Richard
look at him.
Childress Racing.
And then he goes around the other way.
Like he's doing wheelies in the playground.
You think he was cranking it like Freebird on the radio to it when he was doing
I mean, how can he
He's probably like
if he's
10
a
years old.
typical 10-year-old? I mean, I'm sorry, but how does he reach the gas
gas
pedal
pedal?
and the steering wheel?
Probably
you
a-
can
could be
adjust
a
the
not
car.
an
cars
average
now. You can
10-year-old.
adjust the
You're right,
seats
yeah.
now, so
Seems
you
like a
can
little
reach
nut
it.
job, yeah.
They have cars for little people, so you know.
And if you think, that's true, but if you think about the electric car, seriously, they're just like a golf cart. Most 10-year-olds
That
can
is
drive a
true.
golf cart
That's
now.
true.
It's like they don't
Okay.
really have to change gears. It's just gas and
Was
go.
that an electric car?
I wonder. I couldn't tell.
I don't think.
I don't think it was an electric car,
think it was
but,
electric.
but the question was asked: could a 10-year-old get into it? I don't
Yeah.
know.
The parents should be hiding the keys. If he has other auto-related
Yeah,
problems,
I
it's like
know.
if you got a pyro at home, maybe you don't have any
That's-
matches in the house.
That's
You know?
that's
You
the
lock away
complete
the
point.
keys.
Yeah.
But to your point about the parents, I think maybe the parents need to be held
I
accountable.
do think first time, okay, kid's going to do it. He obviously did not learn his lesson
No.
somewhere along the lines. And then you can also say kids will be kids and kids will do stuff. But this is several auto-related. There's a big problem here.
If somebody had been killed in that playground, you can guarantee that those parents would have been held accountable some way, somehow.
They're charging parents for gun violence stuff now. I mean,
Yeah.
a car is just as deadly as a gun.
Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
let's not go down that road.
yeah, right, that's true.
Because, I want to get political.
We'll move down this
No, but
aisle.
I understand your point.
We'll talk about hamburgers. How about that?
Let's do that.
A woman eating a burger in a hospital after giving birth has sparked outrage over claims the Intimate Snap promotes unhealthy eating habits. The criticism stems from a new Burger King ad starring real women in the UK. The fallout began after the fast food giant published data that showed 39% of women wanted a burger as their first meal after giving birth. In response, the brand rolled out a campaign using images and videos of real moms who had just given birth holding a Whopper in one hand and their new baby in the other.
It was hard to tell the difference.
Most women have been supportive of the Bundles of Joy campaign, but others said it was irresponsible to promote junk food as a mother's first meal.
I don't listen. First off, having 4 kids and being there for all of them, what they go through. First off, is it's a marathon that they have to go through. So if they want the carb, whatever you want, and if you really think, okay, is it promoting unhealthy life? What are you going to eat? Oh, I'm ready for a salad. No, this woman just gave birth. She just lost 10 pounds of a baby that she was carrying around for 9
It's
months.
not like it's Guinness or Tito's.
Yeah, exactly. And
What a margarita.
think about like all the hormone changes that a woman has to go
Yes.
through first off to get to this point, and how their body changes and the cravings that they have.
Yeah.
And that I would imagine. You want your brain says, I want protein. And protein, what's the easiest way to get protein is go and grab and get a hamburger. It might not be as healthy, but why not? Have fun. Let them have whatever they
You
want.
just
Leave them
created a
alone.
life. You can have a Whopper.
I agree with you. I agree with
Absolutely.
you.
That should be the campaign.
Yeah.
You just gave birth. Have a Whopper.
Have a
There you
Whopper.
go. Have it your way.
Yeah. Actor Tom Selleck not holding back when it comes with his disappointment with the Tiffany Network, CBS, after the network canceled his hit show Blue Bloods. The 79-year-old, I hope I look like him when I'm 79,
Right?
has starred in the crime drama series. It debuted back in 2010.
Oh, wow.
After running on 14 years, CBS recently announced the show would end this fall. Selleck believes that the show's rating success was always taken for granted because it performed from the get-go. And while the Emmy winner's response is shared with the show's passionate fan base, including Matt's mom, the network says it is considering a possible spinoff, and there's 10,000 reasons why. A lot of people say, or there are some, I shouldn't say a lot of people, there are some people say it's connected to because he's kind of an outspoken right-wing conservative, I guess is the best right to say. And CBS is, some say they're a little farther left-leaning and that sort of thing, which I think you stay away from it. 14 years is not a bad run.
No, that's a great run. for a television show. But his argument is that the show really focused on family values and maybe had a more conservative approach to it. And he thinks that's the reason why they targeted his show. Otherwise, why would you cancel a show that's been number one? They've been in the top 10 of the ratings for the last how many
and
years?
285 episodes, and it's on loop on Ion. Believe me, it is
they
on
just run it
loop
all the
on
time.
Ion.
Yeah.
And they didn't even jump the shark with him shaving his mustache,
No,
right?
they did
So I mean, you have
not.
to give, you wait for that for
That's
the ratings
true.
to drum.
That mustache needs to go in the Smithsonian.
And then they bring Henry Winkler on, and they do
His
the
jump?
water
Oh, the
skiing. I'm
jump,
kidding.
okay.
The water skiing in the lake with the shark, and there you have it.
It makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't make sense altogether. So
Yeah, I don't understand why they cancel a popular show like that. It doesn't.
money-wise, I guess maybe
guess.
they get paid. Who knows?
Yeah.
More trending news coming up. Stick around. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English, along with Andrea Jackson. Hey, commercial DNA tests, very popular. And they gained popularity over the past few decades. But what if you got that test and it completely changes your life? Well, it actually happened to our next guest. It's author Tracy Manaskis. Tracy joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Tracy, first off, what actually did you discover from this DNA test that you and your sisters took?
Well, we actually discovered that we were donor conceived. We were 42 years old, and my sister Jill had taken the test initially, never looked at her matches, only looked at her regional ethnic background.
Okay.
And about a year later, a gentleman messaged her through the Ancestry app, stating that he was her biological half-brother and that he had just learned that he had been donor conceived. So she looked at her matches, found him in there, and later that evening, our dad confirmed for us, we're triplets actually, my dad confirmed for us that we were donor conceived. And within the next, 6-7 months, we had located an additional 10 half-siblings, bringing our biological sibling count up to 13.
Okay, so you all had the same, your triplets, and you all had the same father, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this had to be really, you think so much about your life, and then you realize, wow, this is such a big part. How did you feel after you discovered all this?
To be honest, initially, we were in such shock, nothing felt real for several days. It felt like we were in a dream. And then once that shock had worn off, really, we went through a whole roller coaster of emotions. And I'm actually trained as a therapist. And it took me about 4 months to realize that I was actually going through the stages of loss. I was
Okay.
grieving that my lost sense of identity.
Did you have any, did your thoughts change, or at least your representation of your mother when you found this out? Did your dynamics in your family, did your sister, what happened to, was there a big discussion that went on, or explain that?
Well, my parents are divorced, so we spoke with each of them separately.
Okay.
The biggest change was really coming to terms with not being related, biologically connected with our dad and our dad's side of the family. But it was actually our dad that had encouraged us to take the ancestry test.
Is that right?
He had always wanted us to know and didn't know how to tell us. So he encouraged us to do the test, thinking it would open the door to have the discussion.
Okay.
But he was always was and still is the absolute best dad, coached every team we were on, very active in our lives. So nothing has changed. Once we really were able to talk
Okay.
about things, we were very angry at first at having been, not told the truth for 42 years. But we got over that. We got through that pretty quickly.
When
And everything.
Well, I would imagine the anger came from just because you found out something about yourself you didn't know, and also anger is a first thing of grief and that sort of thing because you're mad you don't understand it. I can totally appreciate that. Why did you feel it was important to share your entire story in a book? What made you decide to do this?
Well, because of the popularity of the commercial DNA test, a lot more people are finding this type of information out about themselves. And when you're going through it and you don't know anyone else who's experienced it, you have no idea what to expect. So I wrote the book in the hopes that someone who has recently found out can read the book, have a better idea of what they're experiencing or what to expect going forward. And also it can be helpful for their friends and family to read it, to also understand from the donor conceived person's perspective, what they're going through and how better to support them.
Let me ask you this. Is ignorance bliss? Would you think, that we all think about your life when you find out this thing, but if you never found out, do you think that it would have taken you to this point, or where do you think you would have wound up if you didn't? Because it sounds like this was a life-changing event in your life.
It definitely was life-changing, but after the initial shock, we actually have gotten to know and become pretty close with several of our half-siblings and their family members.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, it's been wonderful. Learning this
cool.
secret has brought so many great people into our lives that I'm actually very thankful to have found out.
Okay. Well, which I guess this answers the question I was going to ask. Would you actually recommend that people search for their ancestral background with the DNA tests or not? What would you say?
I would say do the test, but be prepared for a surprise.
Oh, really? Okay. And I know that I did it a long time ago. I kind of regret doing it because, first off, I get tons of emails, and I'm like, I just wanted to find out where I came from, much like what you said,
Right.
And but it is interesting to say, oh, hey, that's neat. I got somebody that is related to me, 23rd cousin, or however it works. Do you feel that some of your that you're giving up yourself, speaking of another aspect of doing these DNAs, that you're giving up a lot of information about yourself? What's your thoughts on that when you do these sort of things?
Well, to be honest, I actually never would have done the ancestry test if this hadn't come out.
Okay.
When our dad had first asked us or encouraged us to do the test, I was like, nope, not my thing. I don't want my DNA out there. It just seemed very just odd and just strange to me. But I still don't feel completely comfortable having my DNA out in some database somewhere.
Yeah.
But it was more important to really understand more about where I fit in.
I can
I guess.
understand that.
Mhm.
And it's kind of neat too. You since you're triplets. I mean, you have two other people that are going through it with you too. So I'm sure that actually was very therapeutic. And I think it's interesting too as well. You're in therapy now as well. Just trying to find out who you are, I guess, is the whole basis of that. Very interesting stuff.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I misspoke. I'm a therapist, actually.
Therapist. I'm sorry. Okay. Even still, but you're helping people trying to find out who they are. So very interesting stuff there. Thank you so much for sharing your story here. And of course, if you'd like to get a copy of Tracy's book, it's called From 3 to 13. You can head out to Amazon.com. And of course, we'll also have this interview on our website at dailyflashshow.com as well. Stick around. We got more trending news and information, everything that you need right here on today's Talk, tomorrow's trends, right here on Daily Flash. We love having you along. Don't go anywhere. Hey everybody, welcome back to Daily Flash. Mitch English along with Andrea Jackson. This week we're starting a new fun segment. It's called What Did I Just Eat? Now these are real products that may or may not need to be consumed, but they are really, really out there.
Okay, so to help us get ready to explore the wildest, weirdest food products at a supermarket near you, we have pop culture expert John Graham, founder of ThatGuyOnTV.com, joining us in studio this morning. John, welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
John, love your glasses first off.
Yes, good looking.
You do the Mitch English models. I appreciate that. How'd you get involved in finding weird foods and in pop culture and that sort of thing?
Sure thing. Well, let's see. I've been eating almost all my life.
Is that right?
and became a writer not long after that. So, and because of that, different kinds of journalism. I've been a newspaper writer, a TV writer, TV host and anchor at different points, and started interviewing chefs and got fascinated by that. Now, the foods today, I'm sure, were designed by chefs, but you wouldn't necessarily think of these as chefy foods.
You can find these on the supermarket aisles by all means.
Or in one place, a fast food restaurant.
Okay, very cool. So tell us some of the weird stuff that's out there, and we'll try them here.
Sure. Now this is Cheerios Veggie Blends. Cheerios always trying to bring
Veggie.
new. So now this one, they do a strawberry and apple. This is what is it? I've already forgotten. Blueberry banana. Blueberry banana. Now we've got the logo on there because there's also 3 other ingredients in there I don't want you guys to know about. So give it a try. See if you can taste anything besides blueberry and banana in there.
The blueberry is very prominent.
Very pronounced.
I mean, it doesn't taste particularly healthy, does it?
No.
It doesn't taste like a healthy cereal.
Not at all.
Is
Like
there
a
broccoli
veggie.
in here or
Broccoli,
what?
yeah.
Cauliflower?
You're close. Let's see. It's kale. Kale
Kale,
is
is it
one.
really? I just guessed.
Kale, carrots, and carrots.
Carrots and
Really?
the carrots probably would make it sweet. I bet you. That's it.
There's corn syrup in there, but yeah, so it is a cereal.
Okay.
But yeah, and so that's about half a cup of fruit and veggies per serving in there.
Okay.
It's not going to take the place of eating real vegetables, whole vegetables.
But it's a good
something-
way to sneak them in for the
Yeah,
kids,
exactly.
right?
And
Exactly.
kale, they didn't have. I picked kale because there's so much leftover kale no one eats. They put it in Cheerios.
It's true.
All right, now they always come out with crazy flavors.
Oreo? Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about these.
So there's two out there. These are the Coca-Cola flavored Oreos, and then we also have Oreo flavored Coca-Cola Zero.
Okay. All right, and they are supposed to taste just like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you want to crack this one open? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they
Let's see.
fizzy? Or...
I enjoy the drink
and I'll
more
pour
than
these.
You
the.
pour those in there.
So take a look. See, there's two sides. The,
Oh, okay.
the red cookie is what they call golden flavor.
All right. I can,
have one
I'll
too.
try
I
one,
can
yeah.
taste the Coca-Cola in this, yeah.
Okay.
Or at least the flavor in that.
Now, all colas are kind of made with three main flavors. There's cinnamon, vanilla, and a citrus, and that's why different colas taste different. Is some use lemon, some use lime, some use orange, and then of course there's all the other little flavors in there. So to me, I can really taste the
I can
citrus in those.
Yeah. It's a little aftertaste afterwards. I don't know if I can eat a whole box of these,
Sure.
but like one cookie is fine. All right.
Well,
so
like a lot of these Oreos, it's like they're limited time because next week they'll come out with a different flavor, and they want you to buy that
yeah,
one.
makes sense. All right. So now the other side of that is the Oreo flavored Coke Zero. We're not supposed to feel guilty about drinking.
We're washing
right?
it down with a Coke Zero.
I don't taste the Oreo in that at all.
Is it because you
No,
ate
no,
the
this
cookie?
is not
because
going to
of
be.
that?
Here, take a good chug because I'm sure Coca-Cola. This would not be part of their marketing, but I can really taste it in about 30 seconds. The burp.
Oh, so it's one of those. Okay.
Oh, I taste it.
You can taste it?
It's like an aftertaste.
I don't drink
Andrea
soft
does
drink
not
that all
burp.
that much. So there you go. All right, and cool.
I
you
like
can,
the bouquet.
and you can get these right now on the.
In your grocery
Oreo.
stores, yeah, I'm sure you could order them through the online too, but yeah, in grocery
Okay.
stores.
Retro sours.
This is really
what
interesting.
that?
So about 2001, Altoids had a product called Altoid Sours. You remember them? Oh, good. This is going to be great. So they stopped making it, and people missed it. And so there's a company called, I want to make sure I get this right, Iconic Candy. Okay. They bring back products. They brought back the Bar None chocolate bar. They brought back cream. Oh, shoot.
Oh, wow.
I've got it right here.
My taste buds are going to be like,
I
what is
know this is
happening?
a lot of different tasting on
They brought
this.
back cream savers, Bar None
Oh
chocolate
wow!
bars.
Whoa!
They were one of the first tart candies. Now,
Wow.
the ones today, I think, are even more sour than
That
that.
is the most tart. Wow! That's almost like a bomb that went.
And this is the
Wow.
mango. They also have citrus and man, you think my memory would be better today? Let's see, mango, tangerine, and citrus.
All right, very good. Now the restaurants are getting in on it as well. Taco Bell has a offering.
Yeah. So people like me,
my
I always
Cheerios.
like the double-decker taco. It's perfect for driving. You eat a regular taco in your car, falls apart. Confetti in
driving.
your car. But the double-decker taco it's a regular taco, a little bit of bean, and then a flour tortilla around it, so it can't fall apart. And that's only through the end of this month, only through the end of October.
Okay.
But Dish a Hot sauce is their new hot
Matt,
sauce.
Come on over,
here.
Matt.
Matt. This
Matt
one
will
is,
like it. He eats anything.
he's
right?
gonna test
Okay,
this
and so
one out.
really,
Omar Apollo, he's a singer and songwriter. He was nominated for a Best New Artist at the Grammys. And this is his family's recipe for hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
not too bad.
Yeah, it's not a crazy hot. For me, it's all the flavors.
It's got a good pepper.
There's tomatillos,
It comes late,
there's,
doesn't
yeah,
it?
there's habaneros. Yeah, you get that roasted flavor, a little bit of vinegar.
Taking my time.
Very interesting.
Ice cream is our last
Oh,
option.
don't go far, man.
Matt, we're gonna have to try this.
And so this is salt and straw ice cream. They bring out 4 new flavors every month. They have 30 locations around the country. You can also order online and have it shipped to you. This is one of their Halloween flavors. This is called Creepy Crawly Critters.
Creepy Crawly Critters
So here, let me
here.
put that in front of
there
you.
creepy
It's
crawly
green.
critters?
I can't say yet.
There we go. And we'll try this.
Everybody give it a try and see what you think.
And as we try this, by the way, John, you can check out this and so much more on his website. It's thatguyontv.com.
Thatguyontv.com.
John, what do y'all say? Good or
I
good?
think it's okay,
So it's
but I wouldn't-
matcha ice cream base, so
Very
green tea
nice.
base, but then has chocolate covered crickets. Watch his face, chocolate covered crickets.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hello, everybody. I am Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash. Today's trends,
Yeah.
tomorrow's talk.
so glad to
right?
have you here.
Yes. Look at our incredible crew behind the camera.
Aren't they? They're working hard just for you.
They are.
And we got them because we had coupons.
There it is.
Now you
James,
can look
now,
at this.
now
They
you
look
can
like they're
look up.
robbing or smuggling something.
Which is good. Which is good to have because at least we have something
We want Whoppers.
extra in the morning.
We want Whoppers.
I got an update for you. Do you remember? I'm not sure if you heard this, but Hurricane Milton went through the Tampa and Orlando area, and this dog.
I know what you're gonna say.
This dog is a gorgeous dog. It looks like the Target dog. Is that type? I don't know what
Yes,
that's called.
yes, I know what
Okay,
you're
so,
talking
so
about.
imagine the Target
Bull
dog. Anyway,
Terrier or something?
Bull Terrier,
Bull Terrier,
thank you.
yeah.
So somebody on the side of the highway had put this dog and just tied it up to a fence next to the highway. And a state trooper was driving by, just happened to notice it.
And the water was rising.
The water was rising up on this dog. Well, Governor DeSantis even heard about this because the troopers' cameras picked it up. And he said, listen, we're going to go after anybody that abuses animals. We're going to go after the full extent of the law. Well, they have found the owner of that dog. It's a 23-year-old dude. He has been arrested for aggravated assault, which is a felony, and he faces 5 years in prison for this. The good news is the dog, whose now name is called Trooper. I thought that was neat, is with a foster family, doing okay. Leon County Humane Society had made sure that he was okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you see this, to do that to an animal, first off, and in a matter of time, it would have drowned.
It would have.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And just to leave it there, at least there's so many other things you could have done.
Yes.
And it was still a bad thing. Just let it go within one, but to tie it up to a fence.
To almost ensure that it would have drowned and died.
So
that
leave animals alone.
outraged so many people. And I will say, in the state of Florida, they take animal cruelty very seriously, and there are felony charges. Animal cruelty is a felony offense in this state.
5 years this guy faces. So think about that. And if you get a pet, think about what you're going to do with it if something like this happens.
I will say, in the time that I've lived here in Florida and experiencing as many hurricanes as I've had, and I know you have too, the accommodations they've made for pet owners just in the last 10 years has been incredible. Because I know, especially
Even
with these
hotels,
last two hurricanes, the hotels have said, hey, if you've got pets, we're waiving our pet policy. People are open to making sure that you and your pets are safe from the storm.
So keep that in the plan. Remember your family.
They
You wouldn't do
are.
that to your kid. Well,
Which one? Well, you got to pick one.
Could be
you
one,
have to pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
No, I'm just joking.
Police say a 10-year-old boy in Minneapolis is in trouble for taking the family car out.
Here's
for
a kid I put to
joyride.
the fence.
This kid needs a talking to. He crashed into a playground. Surveillance video, you can
Watch
see
this.
this right here, from the scene, shows the car barrel through the park as kids play nearby. Parents appear to be in shock before rushing to get their children out of harm's way. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt. The 10-year-old was booked on assault charges. Investigators say he's been busted for several auto-related crimes.
That's crazy.
Within the last year, he's 10 years old.
It's scary, and I think that there's obviously an issue here that a lesson has not been learned if it's the third
think?
time, fourth time, or wherever. He said multiple, so we don't know. And where are the parents when this happens, which is the first question everybody asks. But think about this. Had he killed somebody, the insurance would have been, the parents would have been responsible. So if you have to put a blame on somebody, you go, listen, the insurance company thinks if your car hits one of these kids, that the insurance policy holder is responsible, then you are basically that parent. You're held responsible for that. Plus, that's the law with the kids anyway.
Yeah, I mean, does he think because he's 10 he can just get away with it because there's no punishment?
That's the point. Is like, why hasn't this kid learned repercussions?
If he
of
took the
things?
keys, it'd be pretty impressive if he hotwired it, though.
I give him that. I mean, he's got a
It's a
career
skill.
with that.
Okay,
but
well, I mean, that's ambitious, yes.
it is scary. And, and if you think about it, it doesn't take too much now with video games and that sort of thing to figure out how to do stuff.
There was
like
a
this.
story about a young, I think she was also 10 or 11 years old, but she took the family car and it was at sunrise. She got the car because she wanted to go get a Frappuccino at Target.
How old was she?
She was like 10 or 11.
Wow.
In
Well,
the
they
family
started
car,
bougie early.
driving to Target to go do some shopping and
I'm
grab
not
a
mad at that.
Frappuccino. I'm not mad at that
Because I
either.
get it.
There you go.
James?
You could put him to work early. Just
Put him to
DoorDash-
work.
Yes.
DoorDash, Uber Eats.
DoorDash, there you go. I love it.
Nice.
Let's go.
We're doing the scene with Doreen. That's coming up.
Hey guys, this week on The Scene with Doreen, I got to sit down with the undisputed queen of bluegrass music, Rhonda Vincent. She has a new album out, and I'm excited to dig in. Check it out.
The pride of our nation, she's a monument to them, a southern belle that mighty Ellen.
You are the undisputed queen of bluegrass music, and I can honestly say this is the first time I have had bluegrass royalty on my show.
Well, it was in the Wall Street Journal. It was 2000 and my first album on Rounder Records. And I was amazed. I didn't know that they did music reviews, and they reviewed the album, and they said Rhonda Vincent, the new queen of bluegrass. It's been a fun title to have. And it was a few years later up in Iowa, they had a special event, and I was officially crowned. I even have a crown. I wish I had it in my hand. I
was just going to ask
you
if
you see it anyway.
I was going to ask if you have like a tiara or a crown. See,
they officially crowned me there. They said, you know what, you're called the new queen of bluegrass, but you've officially been crowned, and so they did that.
Don't expect to hear me say that I still love you, dear.
Well, a lot of my guests have grown up in a musical family, but you really grew up in a musical family. Your early years were like the Von Trapp family in Sound of Music.
I started singing when I was 3. When I was 5, we had a radio show, a TV show, made our first recording. So I literally grew up on the job training because we were always performing since 5 generations of my family that were performing. So I just kind of jumped on the, whatever instrument was left, that's what I got, and then started singing right away. And I'm thrilled to say that the 6th generation continues. My daughter Sally she's making history as the first female lead of the United States Navy band Country Current. They have this premier country bluegrass band called Country Current. Wow. And so if you see them, you're going to probably see my daughter leading that.
Long trail of tears left behind. Her eyes have been opened, now she's the one who's blind.
Rhonda, you've worked with so many incredible artists like Faith Hill, Trisha Yearwood, but you have a very special bond with the one and only Dolly Parton.
I've worked with her on many projects. She's worked on many of mine. She does so many amazing things and helps people all the time. You see a lot of that, but there's a lot that you don't see. Mm-hmm. And in 2005, I had a life-threatening illness, and I didn't expect to be talking to you right now. When I got out of the hospital, Dolly was standing in my living room in Greentop. Mm-hmm. And she said, I had to come and make sure you were okay myself. Mm-hmm. And I just started crying. I could not believe that she traveled 550 miles to come see me, to stand in my living room, met neighbors and my parents and my entire family. She spent the day there, the entire day with us. I can't say enough great things about Dolly and how wonderful that she is.
Singing Good Morning America, how are you?
Rhonda, congrats on the new album, Destinations and Fun Places. What a great collection of songs and an even greater lineup of guests that you have teaming up with you.
Alison Krauss and I sing as over 7-minute version of Wagon Wheel.
Yes, you do.
And we recorded this track several years ago. And come to find out, 2024 is the 20th anniversary of that song. And then we have Sonia Isaacs sings on 9 to 5 because, work is a destination. And we have Margaritaville we turned it into an anthem for women. So, go women.
Woohoo! Amen.
It features Jeannie Seeley, my Opry sister, and Trisha Yearwood, my Opry sister, on that.
Please visit RhondaVincent.com. Check out her music, her tour dates, and so much more. It was a pleasure.
You did such a great job. All the history and all the research you've done. This is amazing. I loved it.
Rhonda Vincent is a firecracker of talent, and I had a blast talking about her new album, Destinations and Fun Places. And if you want to hear more of my chat with the Bluegrass Queen, you can visit right here. I'm Doreen Taylor with The Scene with Doreen here at the Daily Flash each week. See you next time.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. As the days get cooler and the leaves start to change, there's nothing like the flavors of fall. But today we're doing it in a way that not only tastes great, but is also fantastic for our gut health.
So, registered dietitian nutritionist Gisela Bouvier, she joins us to tell us all about it. Hello, Gisela!
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Why is gut health so important to us?
Well, it's important because 70% of our immunity is in our gut. So we want to make sure that we're consuming foods and beverages to support our gut health. What I always say is happy health equals happy gut, right? And vice versa.
Great advice.
And that's why I'm excited to be partnering with Olipop, because Olipop is the world's first functional soda that's supporting our gut health.
Okay, I've seen this. What is Olipop and how is it different than all the other sodas that are on the market?
So the CEO, Ben Goodwin, partnered up with a team of leading scientists to create this soda that has gut health benefits because it contains plant-based fiber, botanicals, and prebiotics. Additionally, compared to other sodas that have over 35 grams of sugar per serving, Olipop only has 2 to 5 grams.
Okay. You know, it's obviously very important. I know when my gut is taken care of, your whole well-being changes. It's really weird how that handles. But we got all kinds of flavors here. My favorite is Dr. Goodwin one. It tastes really good. But what other flavors can folks get?
So we've got all the nostalgic traditional flavors of soda like vintage cola and Dr. Goodwin, like you said, right? And then we also have some fun fruity flavors like tropical punch and strawberry vanilla and banana cream. And just launched is their new fall lineup here. And it was only going to be seasonal, but they've been such a hit that they're here to stay year round. First, we have Ridge Rush, which is very similar to a lemon lime green soda that's popular, especially around kids, right? And then we have Apple Crisp, and this one is delicious. It's tangy, it's sweet, it's crisp, and it's great for any fall-inspired mocktail. This mocktail has a little bit of apple cider with a little bit of maple syrup and some lemon. And with the Apple Crisp, it's absolutely delicious anytime you want that fall nostalgia type of thing.
Now, here's the big question. Where can people purchase Olipop?
So you can find all the flavors at drinkolipop.com. And of course, in stores, there's over 30,000 of them. Kroger, Walmart, Target, Publix, and the shelf-stable ones are also available in groceries.
Very cool.
Very good.
All righty. I love all these. It's good tasting and great for you. Can a business charge a credit card fee? Good question, right? That fee is what some people across the country are seeing on their bills. It's all thanks to a new rule. So here to talk about all of that and so much more is Amanda Webster. She's the COO of Fund and Grow. All right, Amanda, first off, explain the credit card processing fees. What are they?
So basically, every time that a business runs a credit card transaction, they're charged a fee, right? There's a merchant charge for that. So the business has to pay that no matter what's happening. That's a fee that's for every single charge. So it is a business expense for the business owner. But as you just kind of alluded to, a lot of times it's passed to the consumer.
Yeah, and you kind of think of it as a convenience charge, I guess, so you don't have to carry the cash around, I imagine, so we like, whatever. But it could actually add up a lot. So what does that really mean to the average consumer?
Well, basically, for small businesses, you're looking at sometimes up to 5-6% for these fees that they're being charged. And if they're passing that on to you, on top of sales tax, on top of anything else that's going on, that's going to add up really quick. So you need to be, as a consumer, aware of that convenience fee. That's what a lot of times they do call it, but it's a processing fee for the owner of the business.
Well, it's weird because there's some businesses that choose to charge customers extra for paying a credit card and then some that don't. Why is that?
So it has to do a lot of times with volume, right? So the larger volume you do with credit card transactions, the less the fee. So in a smaller business, they may not be able to absorb it or haven't really factored that in yet. Or think of like nonprofits or governmental agencies where they don't have the ability to budget that in.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, let's talk about legality. Are there any legal restrictions or maybe even some guidelines that businesses have to follow when they do add those fees?
Yeah, so to be really compliant, you have to fully disclose prior to the transaction actually taking place. So on the page or at the store, it has to be fully disclosed that there's that convenience fee for using that credit card. And sometimes even a different fee for using a debit card. Those also have fees sometimes for this. But you also need to make sure you have an alternative source to collect payment. So either collecting cash or check without the fee. That's the best way to stay compliant, is to not force the consumer to have to pay the fee because there is no other alternative.
You know, you had mentioned this, that some do, some don't. It's the size of the business. How do credit card fees actually affect the small businesses compared to the larger companies?
Right. If you look at a big box store, say like Walmart, they're processing millions of dollars a day in credit card transactions. So their processing fee is probably, 1%, 2%, something minimal that they can put in their bottom line without an issue. Small businesses, they get hurt with all types of things. So this is just one extra expense they sometimes can't do. Here at Fund and Grow, we don't charge it to the consumer at the time of purchase, but we do disclose to them that if they refund, we will deduct it out of the refund. So sometimes it's kind of a middle road, and that's how we handle it. If they stay with us, we absorb that charge.
It makes a lot of sense. I'm sure there's people out there that have small businesses. What strategies can they use so they can help minimize the costs and not passing that along?
Unfortunately, usually it has to do with building it into the pricing, right? Building it into the cost of the product or service to be able to cover that expense and knowing what that's going to be. So it's a lot of projections onto their budgeting, or doing a kind of a middle of the road like we do. We don't charge it to consumer, but we do charge it if it's a refund. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do it to try to not cost too much money, but also trying to be there for the consumer.
Hey man, I notice a lot of times you go to small business, they go, you have to have a certain amount in order to use your credit card. Is it a flat rate or is it a percentage of whatever you spend? And does it make it worthwhile for that small business to say, look, I need at least $10. You just spend at least $10 so that I'm not getting hit with fees as well? Is that the case?
There's different merchant accounts have different fees and structures, but usually it does have to do with if they hit a certain amount, they'll spend less on that transaction. So that's typically why you'll see those fees like that.
All right, it makes a lot of sense there. You know, it's something to think about. Plus, you're paying the interest fees on your credit card too. So a lot of charges, they could add up as well. Now, if you want more information on how to earn and use business credit, you can check out fundandgrow.com. Head there anytime, get all that info. Amanda always has great information here on our show for Financially Speaking. We got more Daily Flash coming up right around the corner. If you go anywhere, you miss out on it. So stick around. You're watching Daily Flash.
I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, welcoming you to
Mitch English and Andrea Jackson have co-hosted together for over a decade. And now, only on Daily Flash, they serve up a fast, fun, fresh perspective on the day's trending news and entertainment.
Okay, so you want me to cancel the Will and Jada Smith celebrity roast? Okay, will do.
You'll be entertained with intriguing, informative, and engaging guests. Daily Flash offers the latest in pop news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, wellness, and even some unscripted, irreverent, who knows what's next fun.
All right, I'm gonna pull a groin. Oh, that's not what broke.
Daily Flash with Mitch English and Andrea Jackson. Trending news and entertainment. This is Tim. Tim is all about time, and if you've ever had a chance to look into Tim's cold, dead eyes, you'll see that it's time for you to follow us on social media. Sure, there's 10,000 social sites out there, and we don't have the time to name them all. Seriously, just ask Tim. So take the time to look for Daily Flash TV on your favorite social sites, and start following us. That's all the time, Tim. Goodbye.
Back to Daily Flash. I'm Matt Doolittle with Mitch English and Andrea Jackson. Thanks for spending time with us.
It gets mixed up all the time.
Yeah, I know.
All that.
Y'all look alike.
It's the season. Matt, I think you were talking, or at least we had a discussion about the spirit of Halloween, and now I'm going to go to like to Christmas, which is actually pretty smart. But one thing I always found funny when you go to Spirit of Halloween is they don't buy the licensing for the characters. Let's like, you know, like Austin Powers, would it be like a hippie British guy or something like that?
Beetlejuice is a robber ghost.
Convict
ghost or something.
I love the thing. And it's so neat now having my bonus son where I think this was probably gonna be the last Halloween, but he loves going in there and then I'm looking at all that sort of thing. But I think back, like we had to make ours. Like it was either the plastic face in the 70s of Charlie Brown or whoever you were.
The snap. The thing would always snap.
Yes, and it would break and then it was more, and then you have the plastic thing goes on. But making them, I was I think back, it was more fun making them. I was the Headless Horseman one time.
Oh,
and
that's a good one.
all it was is I got one of my dad's shirts and just tied it up here. And now I think I could actually do the Bob from Beetlejuice. Just give me a tiny head. What about y'all? Y'all have favorite costumes?
My mom tried to make me a Darkwing Duck one year, but the beak thing didn't work too well, so I just looked like a purple Zorro.
Okay. A purple Zorro. You should have got Pringles.
Walking around with Pringles. But the bell thing kept falling, so I'm walking around like, oh, he's Zorro, but purple? I'm like, no, it's Darkwing Duck.
That's funny. There was a movie, I think George Hamilton was called Zorro the Gay Blade. That's probably what it was. Do you remember that?
Yes,
I can't remember. Anyway, what about you, Jackson?
I think Cinderella. I was, one of those girly girls. I had that Cinderella costume, but it was, but I'm not a big Halloween person, dress up person now. I love to see other people dress up, but I feel weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah, you feel like because you have to do it. I like dressing up.
I did Horror Nights for 11 years, so I wore everything, all the paint. And I'm like, I don't want to put any of that on anymore. No latex, no nothing.
And the best part about all of it is that if you're a woman, is that you could be anybody that you were as a child, but you just cut the outfit off halfway and put the word sexy. I'm sexy Cinderella. I'm sexy.